All right, so this is how Snapseed looks when you open up the app. And one thing I really love about Snapseed is that, as you're going to find out, it has a very minimal or a minimalist interface, user interface, and that just makes things really, really easy. There's absolutely nothing which is unnecessary, which cannot, to be frank, be said of its competitors like Lightroom and Photoshop, because those can have a lot of functions right on the main screen which can slightly prove or appear to be intimidating for a complete beginner, but not in the case of Snapseed. Only that which is effective, and it's a very efficient app that way. So before I click on this big plus icon that we have here to add our photo to start the editing process, what I'm just going to do is, on the right side, you're going to see that there is this little menu option. So I'm just going to tap on that, and I'm just going to click on settings. Now, you really don't have to change anything here. And again, the same point I was making, you can see that even the settings menu really doesn't have too much, right? So that is fantastic. So first is obviously the theme. I prefer to use the dark theme because I just slightly is less strainful on the eyes. But if you want, you can also switch to the light theme like this. Okay. Then under the exporting and sharing options, these are going to be slightly more important later on in the tutorial when we go towards the exporting part, when we finally have finished at least editing one of the photos that we're going to be seeing in the beginning. And then I'll be just talking about it. Now, for you in this option which says image sizing, you might see that some other option is selected. Now, you can set it to do not resize right now, but to be frank, it doesn't matter. I'm going to be talking about that later. Same goes for the setting below that, which is format and quality. You might find that Snapseed by default sets it to something like 80% or 95%. Ultimately, we are, in most of the cases, going to be using the full quality. So if you want, you can set it up right now. But to be frank, right now, these options are not too important. So I'm just going to tap on back. And now we are all set to start the editing process. Now, you already know how to access the images. So this first image that I'm going to open up, you can open this up to, or like I've already mentioned before, if you want to edit a similar photo, you can get it from Unsplash. Okay. All right. So the moment I click on this plus icon, is going to open up the interface where all my pictures on my phone are displayed. I really don't want those to be seen, not that there's something fishy in them, just out of privacy issues. And so I'm basically just going to open up that photo and see you on the screen when the photo is there. All right, so this is the fantastic looking landscape image that I have for you just to learn the initial settings inside Snapseed. Now, the first thing that you're going to see here is the three main options below. Okay, like I said, the rightmost export option we'll be seeing later on, but styles and tools is what we're going to start off things with. And to be very honest, styles is, I would say, is just like those filters that you get in Instagram and other apps. Like, for example, I can just select smooth, select pop, and do all those things. We're not really going to be looking at this because then this is too basic, and this just serves as one of those basic filter based apps. Now, I'm not a editing or a photography purist by any means. If one of these filters works for you, you like the look, absolutely go for it. Never listen to people who say you always have to do something tough. Sometimes easy things are also good, okay? But right now, obviously, our aim is to learn the tools. So I'm just going to click on this cross button, which just gets us back to the default. We are more interested in this tools option, which has all these different tools which we are going to be seeing in this course. And trust me, some of them might, on the face of it, look very simple, but as you're going to find out in this tutorial later on, there are some hacks by which you can use them together to do some really, really advanced stuff, okay, similar to what we can do with Photoshop and Lightroom, okay, but we'll get there. Right now, I'm just going to tap here to get back to the main interface. Now, one thing before I get started with the tools editing is that I just have the rotate mode on my phone on, and I'm just going to turn my phone in a landscape format. So the image also and the whole interface of Snapseed also becomes landscape or horizontal, because what you're going to find out when that happens is that this image just becomes bigger, because ultimately this is a landscape image. Okay. If this was a portrait format image, more vertical, then obviously I wouldn't have to do that. But right now I'm just going to turn the phone to just on the landscape format side.